what Terry's going to speak about. Well, first, let's introduce Terri. Terri is the owner of LifePoint Strategies, located in Denver, Colorado. LifePoint Strategies collaborates with business owners who are ready for their business to run without them, allowing the owner to focus on what truly matters. LifePoint Strategies works alongside the leadership team to implement systems to benefit profit and boost productivity. LifePoint Strategies trains the leaders to create a positive culture as they lead key performance indicators, also known as KPIs. This enables everyone to focus on what brings the most value to the company. Terri, take it away. And also Hillary, I see I already put the clock on. And
thank you, Susan. I appreciate that. So good morning, ladies. Yes, I'm with LifePoint Strategies, and I have owned my business since 2007. And this morning, I want to talk to you about life and how life has a way of throwing us into moments that we never expect, moments that change everything. And for me, one of those moments came when we lost our son. So there are no words that can truly capture the pain of such a loss. It was the hardest thing that I've ever faced. And in those days, weeks, months afterward, I felt like the ground beneath me had disappeared. And as a business owner, I had always prided myself on being the strong, resilient, and capable handling person who said, whatever comes my way, I can do this. But this was different. Life was hard, unimaginably hard, and running a business in the midst of that felt impossible. And so that's when I realized a couple things. One, we can't control what God allows in our lives, but we can trust that He stays with us through it all. And we can create a new normal that gives us stability when everything else feels unstable. Organization and structure in our new normal allows our businesses to keep moving forward, even when we need time to heal. It's there whether we are in full-blown trauma or even dealing with the day-to-day, sometimes trivial issues that come up. This realization became the foundation of what I now call the Summit System. It's more than just a business framework. It can be a lifeline for people who, like me, have faced unimaginable challenges, and it keeps all of us through the day-to-day issues focused. It's about building a business that doesn't rely on you being there every moment so you can step away when life demands it. So the Summit System helps you create clarity in your decisions. It gives us focus on your current vision and tools to track and maximize profit, all while giving you the freedom to focus on what matters most in your life today. And so you can see that there's 3 different stages. I call it Summit 1, lead yourself, Summit 2, manage your team, and Summit 3, lead leaders. And we work on 3 different categories within each summit. One is engaging people, that includes you, increasing your productivity, and maximizing profit, all with the goal of you being able to leave with peace, because success is enjoying life, and that's the point. So overcoming obstacles. So sometimes, everyone has different kinds of obstacles. And so life throws us different issues that come our way. And of course, it can be anything from real traumatic, like I just talked about, to something very basic that just throws us off kilter. And I was talking with a business owner a couple days ago, and she's been in business for 30 years. And she goes, I just don't feel like doing what I know I should do. Or sometimes we just wake up and we're tired, and we come to our office and we're like, I'm just tired. Sometimes it's more specific. The obstacle can be that our goals are not clearly defined and are unrealistic given our current situation or capacity. So for me, when we lost Taylor, I knew I could do two things. And it was like literally, okay, I can do this and I can do this. And then the next year I could do three things. And then it became four things. And sometimes things happen and I'm just shifted back to two things. It's just kind of a different dynamic. And I think for each person, our own capacity is different, dependent on what season of life we're in. Sometimes our goals change dependent on what others are doing. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I love what Marla is doing. She's so on the ball. I need to be like Marla. I wish I was Marla, and so we change or we shift what we're doing based on what other people are doing. Sometimes we haven't slowed down long enough to write down the steps that are needed to achieve our goals. And we kind of go at it haphazardly. And so, of course, that's not good either. Today, what I want to focus in on is leading yourself. And so, what you're going to notice for me is that both systems or organization and mindset give us what is needed to lead ourselves to our definition of success. And so with summit number 1, we'll talk about how to ensure you're making decisions that are based on your current vision and your values or your definition of success. You'll understand how to create what I call your perfect week that is defined by the responsibilities that will lead you to your 90-day goals. Last, we'll uncover how to track profit and margins amidst the changes of, our economy based on changes on tariffs that are going on in the world, and even based on changes that we're bringing to the vision of our business. And so no matter what the change is, we go through change management or the cycles of change within our business. And so all of this provides you with a systematic approach that will help you to create your new normal. And so first and foremost, just like all strategic planners, we define success. And so we definitely want to be squared away based on, I loved what Amy said, that Amy was like, I was pretending to be outgoing and those kinds of things. And when I was really true to who I am, and we define success based on what makes us excited and inspires us to jump out of bed, then we know we've got our 3-year vision correct. And it's very abstract. 3-year vision is super easy to create. It's like, playing, in the sand because it changes, and so we've got our 3-year vision. It's all in the sand. And then, of course, the waves come up and, they blow it all away. But we still want to do our 3-year vision that's exciting. Then we move on to either 1 year or 90-day SMART goals. And this is where I get really task oriented. And of course, SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound goals that we're going to focus on in the next 90 days. And then our daily commitments. And this is where the rubber hits the road and we say, what am I going to focus on every single day? What will I commit to do in order to achieve my vision? And we introduce what are called lead indicators. And so lead indicators tell us, okay, I need to make 5 phone calls today in order to get a client 3 months down the road. Or I need to, whatever that lead indicator is. And it's really like a science experiment. A lead indicator is not something that you can just like right off the bat know what you're supposed to do every single day in order to achieve your vision. You have to say, okay, so I think that if I make 5 phone calls, then I'm going to achieve what I need to achieve. But you've got to implement, measure, and adjust. And so those are the keys to lead indicators. Now let's shift over in our brain over to mindset. So task, and now mindset. And these are vision motivators. What I want you to know is that each one of us has different vision motivators. We have a tool that we use that helps us to identify what motivates us individually. For most people, now some people it is, but you would think, oh, it's always going to be money. Nope, most of the time it's not money. Most of the time it can be freedom, it can be all different kinds of things. But what I break it down into is one, know what you value and want in this season of life. And I have what I call the 5 F's. And the 5 F's are faith, family, finances, fitness, and fun. And then you say, okay, in each one of those categories, what do I value and what do I want in this season of my life? Another vision motivator for me, a big deal, is surrounding myself with supportive people who respect me and what I'm doing in life. And of course, it's not only who respect you, but I respect them as well. Vision motivators, another one is to create your new normal that you can be calm in. And so I cannot remember, I think it was Abby that said this morning, that my heart was racing. I had physical problems that were going on when I was in my corporate job. Well, you want to be able to create your new normal, because when we shift from one season of life to another, whether it's due to something that has happened to us, or maybe it's as a result of a new goal that we've created for our business or a new vision, we are changing and we get to reinvent our new normal. Another vision motivator for me is the acronym REST. And what this does is this helps me to reset. And a reset is when I am frustrated or I'm anxious. Then rest stands for relax. It can be just the breathing techniques. You've heard of box breathing, breathing in and out. It's evaluate the truth of the situation. Sometimes we can tell ourselves lies, and we have to say, no, what's the truth behind this? The S is set an intention. It's saying, okay, and based on this truth, what am I intending to do? Am I going to set a boundary with this person? Am I going to make those 5 phone calls? It's whatever your intention is. And then T is take action. It's like, okay, get up, girl, go do it. So those are all some motivators that can help us with a new vision. Once you have your motivators in place, then it's time to create your perfect week. And again, this is based on what is your new normal, and you're focusing in on your 90-day vision. And what is the new reality based on that vision, based on the economy, based on your capacity, whatever it might be. Second step is, what is the most valuable task for you to accomplish? And so this is where you take a step back and you say, where am I the most valuable in my business? And you either delegate other tasks or you reprioritize those tasks, but you ask yourself, where am I the most valuable? And then you add, how long will that task take? When does it have to be done? We become little project managers of our own little business. And how many times do I want to do that task in order to achieve my vision? Chunking the task for me was a big piece when I was moving from losing our son to getting into the nitty-gritty of my business, because chunking my tasks allowed me to ask the question, and this is helpful all the time for me, is that when I'm frustrated or I feel like, I just can't do that, then when I have it chunked into small little pieces, I can say, what can I do? Okay, I can do step number 1. And then I do it. And it might take me 5 minutes to do it, but it gets me back into the groove. And so chunking is a great tool that we can use that helps us to stay focused on our tasks. Tracking profit and margins is a big piece of the success of all of our businesses. And sometimes this can be the one that we neglect. And so we use what's called scenario-based financial modeling. And this approach goes beyond like traditional strategic planning by combining financial analysis. And so we look at your finances along with what if scenarios to prepare your business for different outcomes. This is really helpful for when we are either put into another season of our business or we are choosing to grow our business. And so there's 4 ways that we use it. One is through scenario simulations, and this helps clients explore multiple future possibilities. So again, like economic shifts, industry disruptions, or growth opportunities. Like we'll say, what happens to cash flow if we expand into a new region? So Beth expands into the nation. What's going to happen to our business when we do that? Or maybe what is going to happen if my sales drop by 15%? That's scenario simulations. We also do what's called profitability forecasting, and this ties strategic decisions to financial outcomes. And so it shows how implementing a certain strategy, like we implement team accountability, systematic approaches to process improvement. And how does that directly impact your profit margin? Or how can it impact your profit margin? Again, it's called profitability forecasting. So we're forecasting how it will help. Third is stress testing. And so we introduce a system to test the resilience of a business plan under challenging conditions, such as unexpected expenses. Maybe a team member leaves for an unexpected amount of time. I'm working with a client right now that has happened. They had a baby, and we all, of course, knew that was going to happen. But then afterwards, unfortunately, her uterus became infected, and this just happened 2 days ago. And so she's going to be out for a long time. And my client is going to Africa for 2 weeks. And so these are all stress testing strategies that in case something like this happens, what do we need to do? And then the fourth is called vision-driven metrics. And this, we align every scenario with their long-term vision. So it's very vision-oriented. So, a great example of this is, so my vision is to sell my business for $5 million. Okay, that's your long-term vision. Perfect. And so then ensuring every decision the business owner makes financial sense, but it also supports that goal. And so those are scenario-based financial modeling. So what we've talked about today is Summit 1, and this is leading ourselves in order to ignite profit and productivity. We've just defined success and your motivators. We've talked about how to do that, about how to create your perfect week, and then how to track profit and margins. And so for me, 3 years after losing our son, I'm still figuring out my new normal. Honestly, some days are still really, really tough. And other days, I've learned how to carry the sadness with the joy of the day. But more than anything, what I've learned is that I want to be helpful. I want to be helpful to other people, to use what God has shown me to help others with whatever they are going through, as well as help them grow their business and create a well-oiled machine so they can take time away when they want to. And I hope this has been helpful to you in just a small little way. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them now.